Hello, bookworms. Today I'm coming to you with a little bit of behind the scenes information about my book, Saltwater Orchard. You can listen to that book for free right here on my YouTube channel. I recorded it 2 chapters at a time. So a little bit of background behind that story. It was actually the third story I wrote. And as I was reading it, I did find a few typos or things I wanted to change. So I will be updating a slightly different version soon to Amazon. But overall, the story still stands. And one of the things that I did in that story was I added a little girl with type 1 diabetes. And so I've been asked before, do you use anything in real life? How do you find these characters? Why do you decide to add this or that, or, how that goes? Well, I'm actually a type 1 diabetic, and I was not diagnosed as a child. So I had to kind of imagine how that worked. I've talked to parents who do have children with type 1 diabetes, and it's much harder to deal with when you have small children. I, however, was 28 years old. I was diagnosed during my second pregnancy, and I never had to drink the orange sugary drink. I did that with my first pregnancy, but not my second one. I was actually diagnosed right at my very first prenatal appointment. And it wasn't until I was about 6 months pregnant that I had a doctor tell me that once my child was born, then they would know whether I had type 1, which is insulin-dependent diabetes, or type 2, which is you can sometimes control with food or drink, or you can use oral drugs to control. The way that it was described to me, which I've never forgotten, is type 1, pretend that your cells have locks on them, and insulin is the key to unlock them so that sugar, which is what we need for energy, can enter them. Type 1 diabetics don't make the keys, so the cells can't open. So we have to take insulin, which are the keys, so that we can get the energy that we need. Type 2 diabetics, they make keys, but they're not always the right keys to open the locks. And it might not be enough keys, or it might be however that works. So it wasn't long after I had my son. I was 4 months postpartum. When they talk about the diabetic thirst, they're not joking. It was like I had cotton in my mouth and I couldn't get rid of it. So sure enough, I had a 4-month honeymoon after he was born, and then it came back with a vengeance. And he was 6 months old. And I'll never forget the date, because it was September 10th, 2001, the day before 9/11, when I found out I was going to be on insulin for the rest of my life. So I wear an insulin pump. I also wear a continuous glucose monitor. Neither of those things show up in the story because the little girl is newly diagnosed, and usually doctors make children and anyone use shots for a while and make sure that they can get things under control a little bit that way before they put them on an insulin pump. But for me, it's been life-changing. I have pretty good sugars, pretty good numbers. I have no complications yet, and I have been a diabetic now for a long time. So that is why type 1 diabetes shows up in that story.